All right, we will begin today's webinar. As I mentioned, my name is Veronica Parker with AEBG TAP. Today's presentation is a live demonstration of the California Adult Education website, caladulted.org. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions, please be sure to post them in the chat pod. We will address your questions throughout the presentation, then we'll leave time at the end of the presentation to address any questions you may have. So if your question is not addressed immediately, please be patient and we will get to you as soon as we can. The webinar will be recorded and available on the new California Adult Education website later on this afternoon. So if you have to leave for any reason or you'd like to come back to utilize the recording as a resource if you're trying to locate something on the website, you'll be able to do so by using the recording that we'll post on the website. If you're experiencing any technical difficulties, your sound isn't working, your computer has shut down, whatever the case may be, please be sure to let us know in the chat pod and we will address your technical difficulties. You can also give us a call and we'll have someone help you via telephone. If you are experiencing an echo right now, please be sure to log out of Adobe Connect and come back in. It means that you're logged in more than once and therefore your computer is experiencing an echo. A quick way to fix that is just to log out of Adobe Connect and come back in. Since this is a live demonstration, you may want to go to a full screen. You can do so by pressing the 4 outward-facing arrows up top. It's to the left of the attendees pod. Once you press that, your screen will go to a full screen. However, please be mindful that you will not be able to see or contribute to the chat pod if you go to a full screen. You can easily come back to a normal screen by pressing that same icon and your computer will go back to a normal screen. So that's an option for everyone in case you want to see a bigger picture of the live demonstration this afternoon. Immediately after this presentation, you will receive an evaluation. Please be sure to fill out this evaluation to let the AEBG TAP staff know what you thought about today's presentation, if you have any technical assistance or professional development needs, and if you would like to give us feedback about the website in particular, especially if you have additional resources that would be great for our website. Now I will turn it over to Diana Batista, who is the Director of Adult Education with the AEBG Technical Assistance Project. Diana?
Thank you, Veronica. Welcome everyone to the room, and I hope that you're as excited as we are to see our new caladulted.org website. I would like to point out that on our presentation today, we will continue to have Veronica Parker present part of the information, as well as Melinda Holt, who is part of OTAN, as well as AEBG TAP, and I, Diana Batista, will also be sharing some of the trends and exciting parts and features of our new website. As I mentioned, the name of the website is caladulted.org, but what's easy for you to do is to use the QR code that you should be seeing on your screen right now. If you use a QR reader, you're able to go over the QR code on that screen and it will take you directly to the website. You'll be able to follow along with us. And if you do go ahead and access the website directly, we'd like you to share that in the chat pod so that we can see who's following along with us. We'll start off by sharing some of the main features. You can see this is our homepage at the caladulted.org site, and we'll go into some of the details of this as we move through our slides. Let me go ahead and show you the next slide, our agenda of what we're going to cover today. So here's our agenda, and you can see the format. This is a screenshot of our caladulted.org website. It's a new site, and we're going to explain to you why we have a new site. Today we'll share with you the components and how to navigate through our site, as well as some of the exact features on our student page, our educator page, the administrator page, and how you can create an account so that you'll be able to access AEBG TAP directly for services, and we'll be able to communicate directly with you. Okay, so our new site, first I've mentioned that it's caladulted.org. That stands for California Adult Educators.org And you can see again the QR code. If some of you are just coming in, you can scan that QR code and it will take you directly to the website. Veronica has mentioned that we have the PowerPoint, which is a handout for this presentation. I'd suggest that you download the presentation and you can use it as a user guide. And if you have anyone who's not attending today from your site, you'll be able to share that user guide with them and it will help them as they navigate through some of our new features. So our Cal Adult Ed site is to provide information to all adult education providers, potential students, and the general public. And by that I mean possibly you might have someone who would make a referral to your school site, and this will allow them to come into the website and find access to the local source as well as what information is relevant for their referral services. One of the new features which we're going to talk about is our new student page, and what we've done is added information for a more comprehensive audience. This is what we call a living document, and by that I mean it will continue to grow and evolve, and as information becomes outdated, we'll be able to hide it. But as new information such as due dates and things are released, we'll be able to present that information to you quickly, easily. We'll be able to monitor what's on the site and add information as needed. We'll also be able to provide you with a simple system for asking for support, as well as if you're trying to locate information on this website. And of course, we'll be sharing webinar information and archived webinars where you can find it. So I just want to remind you, if you'd like to go live to the site, you should go ahead and use the QR code. So we're looking at three different main components of our site: student, educator, and administrator, as well as our events tab. And as I've just mentioned, we're going to be getting into the details of each one of those pages as we move through our presentation today. At this point, I'd like to introduce Melinda Holt, who's going to share with you about our technical aspects of our new website. Melinda?
Thanks, Diana. Hi, everybody. The new website, it's great, it's cool, and one of the reasons it's so great and cool is because you can now open it on a phone or a tablet and actually see the information. Responsive design means that the site is now responding to the device that you're using. So you'll have less scrolling, you'll be able to maneuver through the site to get to the information. So if you're on the road and somebody tells you that something's all of a sudden due and you, oh no, I've got to get to the site, you can actually open it up on your phone and get to the information that you're going to need. Or a tablet. There's a lot of people that are using tablets now as a laptop type device. So responsive design is going to help you, and that's one of the reasons the new site. It's the navigation is pretty easy. You know, everyone knows how to click, so that hasn't changed, but the information has been put into different categories and different topics and different what's the word we used? It wasn't topics, it was something that starts with a C that will, components. So we've got the three main components: student, educator, and administrator. So we've taken all the information off of the old site, which was mostly geared towards administration, and we've split that up into student, educator, and administrator sections, components, if you will, and then we've added information as well. So easy navigation, and if I go to the next slide, we're going to show you some of the navigation features. So right now the administration page or component is open on this slide. The slide, Veronica will walk you through the live site. I'm showing you the components now so we get some arrows going, which as soon as there we go. So here are the main components, and I know administrators is open because we have a box around administration. I can also look at the path, which is right below or above the topic areas for administrators. Everybody has their own topic area. Administrators have their own topics, educators have their own topics, and students have their own topics. So as you go through the site, you'll notice that the topics will change on this far left. As you open a topic, you'll see categories within the topic. So right now planning is opened, and then we'll see the categories within that. When a category is selected, then it will populate the page. And as you're going through the site, if you want to know exactly where you went to get there, you can look at the path. So here we can see that everyone starts at home. We're at the administrators area. We've opened up planning and we've clicked on state. So that is what appears on the page. The URL for this page, if you want to send it to somebody, will definitely be up in the URL or the web address or the Omnibox, whatever you want to call it. The place where you type the URL, that's where this page will be. But at the bottom of every page that you open, you're going to see something that says permalink to the category, and it has HTTP. That is actually the link for this page as well. So you could copy it there, or you can copy it from your address bar. Paste it in an email. Hey, Joe, this is a great site for the reports. Click here, right? And then it'll open up for them. Also on this site, we have, on the administrators page, you're going to see the access to Nova. So if you're an administrator, I believe it's on the home page as well. Veronica will be showing you that, but it's also a direct link on the administrator page. Request support is a link that is on all 3 components, so that never leaves. The administrators get the addition of seeing the access for NovaLink. Also, we have some added bennies, especially for students that maybe they're Spanish speaking or Vietnamese or Russian, whatever their main language is. They can't quite make out what's being said on their student page. They can select the language from the list, and the entire page will be translated to that language. Is it a perfect translator? Of course not. There's no perfect translator, but there's enough information, all the nouns will be translated, that they should be able to get the gist of the page. There's also a search site. It stays there for everybody. Both of those do. So you can actually do a search on the site and it will list the documents. You type in a word or a couple of words. You don't want to get too exact because that will limit your search. And I believe that is about all I can tell you. And from here, Veronica's going to take over.
Thank you so much, Melinda. Now I will go into the live demonstration of this website. So I'm going to share my screen at this time. 1 second, I am clicking on the screen I would like to share, which is the California Adult Education website. So now you should be looking at the home page of the California Adult Education website. If I can have either Melinda or Diana, please confirm verbally that you're seeing this.
Yes, definitely.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So on the home page, some of the information you will find is an overview of the new website. So as you can see, it says, welcome to the California Adult Education website. And we give you a little synopsis of what the website is all about. So that's useful information for someone who's first visiting the website. Next to that, you will find what's trending this month. That's off to the right-hand side of the page. What's trending this month is used to display any important deadlines, any upcoming events or webinars, as well as showcasing success within the AEPG program. So for example, up top you will see the Education Technology Webinar Mini-Series. That webinar mini-series was created out of the AEPG Summit. After analysis of the evaluations, we found that a certain percentage of our attendees said that they wanted to see these presentations again. So we took the presentations from the summit, turned them into webinars, and now we have a mini-series that we have been conducting throughout the month of June. Today, we have the Open Educational Resources Session 1 webinar beginning at 3:30 p.m., 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. So if you have not registered for this event and you would like to attend, we have a link here where you can click on it and you can register for this event. So I'm going to click on the registration button. This takes me to the AEPG Technical Assistance Project events page, and you can see a list of all of our upcoming webinars and trainings that we have available. So you can click on the OER session and then you can quickly register for this event. So if you haven't done so already, I would strongly encourage you to register for this wonderful event. So now we'll move out of this. Underneath it, we have the NOVA login quick link. This month for AEBG has been a particularly busy month regarding fiscal reporting. There was the June 1st expenditure reporting to be submitted by members, and then by June 30th, we have the expenditure reporting certification process that's supposed to be completed by then. So we wanted everyone who is engaged in this process to be able to have a quick access link to the NOVA website. So if you have your fiscal contacts accessing this page and they need to get to NOVA, they're able to do so relatively quickly by clicking on this link, and it will take you exactly to the NOVA login page. So we wanted to create a streamlined process for all. Underneath, you will find other important due dates that are coming up, as well as student submission. The due date for our student reporting, which is August 1st, and then because we not only want to highlight all of the important due dates and deadlines and just webinars and trainings, we also want to highlight students, consortia, as well as adult education centers and their success, the strides that they're making in adult education. So last year, we had 2 winners from the California Adult Education OTAN Student Success Project. We decided that we wanted to highlight them and all of the wonderful work that they have done in adult education. So for example, if you click on the link, Jody Hoffman's student success story will come up. Jody Hoffman was a student at Golden Oak Adult School. She is now the principal of Golden Oak Adult School, and she's also a member of a consortia. So we wanted to highlight her success and everything that she's overcome to become successful in what she's doing at this time. So the home page will highlight all of these key features. If I scroll down a little bit more, I will also see California Adult Education at a glance. So all of these links are fact sheets about the different areas of adult education, the different program opportunities, and how students can become engaged in these worthwhile programs. Another area that I wanted to point out, which will be very useful to anyone who accesses this account and our social media users, is our link to the Twitter account, to our AEBG Twitter account. So as you can see, we are active on Twitter for AEBG, and today about an hour ago, we tweeted about our doubleheader webinars today. So we have the live demonstration that we are conducting right now, and then later on this afternoon, we will have the open educational resources at 3:30. So if you ever want to follow us on Twitter, you are able to do so. Our Twitter handle is at AEBG Office. We're continuously active on this page, and if you haven't followed us already, please be sure to do so. So I'm going to click off of here, and I'm going to now take you to our students page. We are very, very excited about our students page because this is the first time the AEBG office per se has had a students feature. The old AEBG website did not have this feature, so we're very excited to have this now. On the students page, you can see lovely graphics of actual students at adult education centers working on their schoolwork. In addition, as Melinda was talking about, this left blue pane are all of the topics we have regarding students. So up top you can see find a school, and I'll go into detail about that in just a second. We have information about citizenship and ESL, and when you click on this you will see the different categories, and then when you click on the categories you will see information appear about citizenship and ESL. We have college, we have information about enrollment, financial aid, and success in college. We have information about employment and career, whether it be apprenticeships, career exploration, CTE classes, and jobs. We have actual job searches, and then workforce reentry, entry and reentry. So as you can see, we have a lot of different topics. As I talked about previously, we have student success or success stories, and those success stories are also mentioned in trending this month. So you see it on the home page, but then you also get a second glance on the actual students page. Now I would like to go over the Find a School feature. So I'm going to click on this. And when I click on Find a School, you'll see a map that appears with different tick marks for where each adult school in the state of California is located. We have the enter address or zip code here, and then underneath we have all of the schools within this database. We have a total of 741 schools within this database. So an existing student or a potential student can come to this page, enter their home address or their zip code, and they can find a school within a certain radius of their home. For example, I'm going to enter in 95670 as a zip code because I'm looking for an adult school in the Rancho Cordova area. So I'm going to click on Rancho Cordova, California, 95670. The map is going to now focus in on adult schools within this area. So our number one school that comes up, that's closest to me, it's about 1.3 miles away, is Folsom Adult School. When I click on the name of the school, so Folsom Adult School, it will show me exactly where it is on the map, and then its information will appear again. So I have the address of Folsom Adult School, I have a link to the website, and directions. So I would like to learn more about what Folsom Adult School has to offer me as a potential student. So I'll click on the website and it will take me to Folsom Cordova Adult School, and I can learn about all of their programs. I can learn about their administration, registration dates, their hours, especially with this being the summertime. Adult schools have alternate hours, so I can learn about all the information I need to know about Folsom Adult School. So this is a really cool feature that we are very proud of to have to offer to our potential students as well as existing students and anyone else who would like to locate a school. Now I would like to show you, as Melinda talked about, Google Translate. So I'm a student and my native or primary language is Arabic. So I click on Arabic and you see, as you can see, mostly all of the content on this page translates into Arabic. So as a student and my primary language is Arabic, I'm now able to easily read and understand all of the content on this page because it's now in my primary language. So that's a really cool feature that we're very proud of, so that we're able to be of service to any and everyone who accesses this new website. As I mentioned before, we not only want to highlight due dates and things for administration, we want to make sure that we highlight all entities of adult education. So we really want to focus in on all of the strides, the wonderful strides that are being made in adult education by highlighting them. So each month, the ABG tab will use the promising practices, and Diana will go over that a little bit later, to select a consortium, school, and or student who are making strides in adult education. So if you do not have a success story under promising practices, please be sure to submit them and you may be eligible to be showcased on the new adult education website. These are just some of the highlights that we wanted to cover because we feel that they would be most important at this time for a lot of people. As we all know, there are many more valuable student resources out there. So please be sure to take a look at this section and any section on the new California Adult Education website. And if there are more resources that you feel would be of value to this website and you would like to contribute, please be sure to let ABG TAP know. We will evaluate those resources to make sure that they are applicable and will be of value to our population. And if so, we will gladly put them on the website. So that's all I have for the student section. I'll now turn it back over to Diana, who will be presenting on the educator section as well as the administrator section. Diana?
Okay, thank you, Veronica. I see that we have a question from Cecilia and Parul. Where do we submit changes needed to update information when searching for schools? So any of the requests that you make, we'll cover it later on in the webinar, but it will be when you submit an item where it says request support. If you look across the header of each of our pages, you'll see there's a button there that says request support. And we're going to give you details before the end of the webinar of exactly how you do that. So I'd like to talk about our new educator page. Someone had asked earlier if this is the new AEBG site. So yes, this site was formerly housed at the Chancellor's office and managed through the AEBG office. So the Adult Ed Block Grant Technical Assistance Project has taken over the website design. We've worked with one of our contractors here, and we were able to get a nice new design. We have relevant photos, we believe, of actual adult educators and their students. We have different quotes at the header of each page, and the educator page, like the student page, is brand new. So on the educator page, if you're following along on your PowerPoint, which I said you can use as a guide, you'll see one of our new features is the Events tab. So I know that I'm on the educator page because the blue button at the top is highlighted for educators, as well as the white educator word. And now I'm going to click on the Events tab. And when I click on the Events tab, you'll see the one-stop shop that has been used by California Adult Education through the California Leadership Projects for years. What we've done is we have added the Adult Ed Block Grant Technical Assistance training sessions and workshops. You can sort by sponsor, and you can see there I'm highlighting the AEBG, and that will take you into our trainings that are coming up for the rest of this month. You also have the advantage of clicking on Events and Conferences, which is a face-to-face session, and then I search that. Did you hit search? And that will show you some of the organizations and associations and public conferences that are coming up, with a link directly right there for you with the dates and how to register and get information. What we'd like to do is promote all of the adult education professional development opportunities across the state so that you're well informed as we move forward. So again, you'll go to Events and then search by sponsor, or you can search by date, and it's really good information. In addition to that, we've added in our resources page. So this is brand new for educators. You can see that we have the Summit resources where you can access previous presentations and things from our last summit, which was just in January earlier this year. We'll be hosting other summits. We have resources from 2016, and we'll continue so that if you want to see some of the presentations and the information that was shared at those events, you'll always have access to the presentations and to be able to contact those presenters. I also want to point out under resources, another section that we have is the Practices with Promise. And again, Veronica just talked a little bit about that. You're able to browse successful practices. If maybe you're looking at trying to do something new, or if you're working in a certain area and you would like some tips on how other schools have done it, this again was featured on the previous website, but we've put it now under educators and resources to help you as you're able to move forward through your programs. The next thing under resources that I'd like to show you is our professional development page. And this is where you will access the archives of our webinars. And you can see now they're sorted by category as well as by date. Let me point out educational technology. And on May 23rd, we hosted a social media for adult education. You can access all of the resources just like before. You can access the presentation as well as the recording. And then we're divided into certain categories, such as instruction, best practices. There are quite a bit of information there for you. And another thing that we've done is we've tried to put the information, the webinars and professional development that is most relevant to educators, such as instructors and coordinators, here on the educator page, whereas more of the policy and guidance webinars and resources will be posted on the administrator page, which I'll get to in just a moment. I'd also like to point out to you that we have here resources for program areas. So when we click on program areas, I mentioned earlier this is a living document. We've started with the career, technical education, citizenship prep, and English as a second language program areas, but we'll continue to add some other information. So here you see I'm featuring under our career tech ed, we have our career pathways design. You can see that there's a lot of information there that will help you in designing your industry sector alignment and career pathways. And this allows you to see what's being done across the state and really access the resources that are available. Let me go ahead and show you another program area. Let's look at citizenship prep. How many of you heard of the Allies Immigration Integration Framework? This is the white paper that was shared. Many of you know that the Allies Immigrant Integration Framework is now part of the English Language Learner Navigator project. We're looking at integrating some of those metrics into our reports as we're sharing out what metrics we can use to report on accomplishments, and there's a lot of great information there. This is an easy way for you to access these resources, and like I said, they're literally at your fingertips by program area. So the other area is under English as a Second Language. We have a lot of information there for you about serving immigrants, as well as some of the information that we need right now with some of the information that's being shared with immigrant resources and fact sheets, some information regarding, DACA and some of that other stuff. The next area that I'd like to highlight for you under the educator page is tools. And again, I'd like to highlight, if you look at the breadcrumb area at the top, you can see how I've gotten to this page where it's home. I'm sorry, Veronica, let's click on California Leadership Projects. So I think most of you, if you are Workforce Innovative Opportunity Act funded, you should be familiar with these California Leadership Projects. But my breadcrumb trail is showing that I started at the home page, I went to the educator page, then to tools, and now I'm at California Leadership Projects. And again, as Melinda mentioned, at the top you can see where the web addresses. In case you need to share these resources with a colleague, you're able to highlight and copy and email this to someone for easy connection. So I think that this will be something that is much easier, and it's a resource for all educators, and you'll be able to see what information is available, share it with your colleagues, and I hope that you'll find it very useful. Another thing we have under tools, in addition to the leadership projects, is we have tools that you need for course outlines. And you can see that each one of these, under the components, we then have the categories. And so we have information from CASAS, as well as some sample course outlines in different areas. And then also under tools, I'd like to point out we have standards. And the standards are the recently released information from Adult Education Program Standards, as well as the CASAS competencies, Comprehensive Adult Student Assessment System competencies, the content standards, and also the national reporting standards with NRS with regard to what tools are available for assessment and other samples. It's a great resource, and I hope that you'll enjoy using it. So now what I'd like to do is continue on and show you some of the new features on our administration website. I am checking and I don't see any questions at this time. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat pod. And I'd just like to point out again, if anyone joined us late, our demonstration is an interactive live demonstration. We are actually using the website and not the PowerPoint. So here on our administrators page, these categories may look very familiar to you. This is the page that migrated, for the most part, from the previous AEBG website. This has a lot of information that is very resourceful, and I want to point out one of the categories that we have is funding. So let me click on the funding, and you can see under funding that we have a number of different topics. It's funding that's related by program year. So you can see the 2018-19 preliminary allocations. You'll be able to get that information, as well as there's our previous years of information and cover letters that were sent out. Sometimes we refer to them, beginning of year letters, so that you're able to see the most up-to-date guidance and allocations, as well as some of the historical information. I also want to point out on this page under funding, in the category, we have the CFAD process. I know that's something that is very detailed. We have the guidance for the CFAD process right there, very easy for you to access, and again, the letter that was submitted. I also want to point out under the administrators page that we do also have policy. If I click on policy, I'd like to show you that we have guidance. This is the guidance. It's quite extensive from the AEBG office. It includes guidance not only for data reporting, but also fiscal guidance and program guidance. This is one of the pages that I'm sure that you'll continue to see grow And each year we'll post the new information. And again, if we find that our new guidance supersedes some of the older guidance, to avoid any confusion, we may be hiding the older guidance so that you'll always be able to access what's most relevant. We'd like to have it easily accessed. And under this, you can see there's approved data and accountability plans. We have the measuring our success document. Some of you may recall that that was referred to as the CLASP report. So there's a lot of really good information and assistance provided to you there. So again, we're at the live website. I think that many of you may be following along with us, and you're able to see how easy it is to access this information. Let me point out to you that we also, as I mentioned earlier, have a professional learning category, or excuse me, component on this page. And you can see here we have the information from the Adult Ed Block Grant Directors events, also known as the Consortia Lead. You're able to access the information that was shared there, as well as some of the reports and findings. We again have the summit resources. We have information on the fiscal data reporting. And let me highlight the professional, there's our technical assistance tools, including webinars through Nova. This is really a great resource. As you get maybe new administrators or new instructors at your site, you can use this for your own professional development at your site. These are resources that we've made available to you. And let me click on the professional development page, because that one again will host the information for some national and state conferences and some other new resources that will be available to you. I think that this will help you to find archive webinars. And again, they're categorized by the date as well as the type of webinar. And the webinars that are posted at the administrator page, we believe, have been categorized more as appealing to administrators as opposed to instructors. But again, if you find that you would like to have information shared or you'd like to have an easier way to access it, please submit a request for support, and we can go ahead and analyze that. So before I move away from this page, I just also want to point out that we do have a highlighted thing for our new field teams. I know that you've heard Neil Kelly refer to the field teams when he's done his webinars. You see that we have up-to-date information from our March meeting. We did just have a convening last week, and we have the field team agenda posted there. We're working on getting the latest notes and other resources that were used that day, so that we'll always have the information available to the field. You can access the information and be familiar with what is being shared at the AEBG level with our field team groups, as well as through the AEBG office. And lastly, on the administrator page, very important, I'd like to show you the About Us tab. And under that, let me click here, Consortia Map. Does this look familiar to anyone? Yes, this migrated over from our previous page. And this is where you access the information on the consortia. You'll be able to see who the contacts are, as well as the other information. Like I said, this is familiar to many of you, and it has information that many people like to access. We put it in a very easy to find spot so that you'll be able to keep up to date with the information that you need. The last thing, if I go back to my categories, we do have a Q&A, which is located a little bit higher, where we also are posting the questions and answers frequently that come from our webinars. But these also, if you submit a request and ask a question through AEBG TAP, and it's what we consider kind of a frequent flyer, and we can see that it's something that's very resourceful to many consortia, we will post it under our Q&A. So often when you have a question, you'll find that many other people have had the same question, and you're able to find it very easily just by using our website. So that is the information that I have for you under our administrator page. Again, I don't see any questions for me, so I'm going to turn it back over to Veronica, who's going to show us how to submit a support request. Okay, Veronica, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. So now I'll walk you through how to submit a support request to AEBG TAP. As you all know, AEBG TAP is here to provide support to all AEBG Consortia administrators, members, educators, as well as counselors. The AABG tab has implemented a more systematic approach to delivering support via the support system. Now, for the first time, all adult education providers can create an account on the new AABG website to submit these requests. Some of the benefits of submitting requests are each time you submit a request, all of your contact information will be auto-populated. So if you have, let's say, 5 requests within 1 week, instead of entering all of your contact information, such as your name, your consortia, your role, your telephone number, email address, all of those contact related information, you no longer have to enter that. Once you register as a new user and create an account, all of that information will be auto-populated. So that's one way to make the process a little easier for everyone. You will be notified via email when an AABG tab staff person has responded to your request. So back in our old system, via our tab inbox, we would reply to you with an answer to your question. Now we have a more streamlined process where in the actual database, we will reply to you and our database will ping your email to let you know that a response has been given, and then it'll ask you, it'll showcase that response. So that's a little bit more streamlined as well. You can check the status of your request. So our business process is that we will respond to you within 1 to 2 days within normal business hours. If for some reason you have not received a response and you would like to check the status of your request, you can now log on to see where we are with your request. It's all real-time information. You can communicate with AABG tab staff via this account, and then all of your information will be password protected. I want to note that it's important to submit support requests via the support system for tracking purposes to ensure everything is housed in one central location and no one request is lost or left without a response. Whether you are trying to connect with AABG tab directly for assistance, which you will be, or you need to get in contact with Neil or Nicole, by submitting a support request here, we guarantee your request will be responded to. So either way, you will receive a response from someone, whoever you are posing your question to or your support to. Once a support request has been submitted, as I mentioned before, the AABG tab will respond to you within 1 to 2 business days within normal business hours. So now I will walk you through exactly how to register as a new user and submit a support request. It's a pretty simple process, and please feel free to follow along, especially if you have not created an account on your own as of yet. So first, what I'm going to do, you see on this page, we have a little description about who we are, the Technical Assistance Project, and then we have 2 options. You can either log in if you've already created an account, or you can register as a new user. For the sake of today's purposes, I will register as a new user just so you can see how everything works. I'm going to click on the Register as a New User button, and I'm going to enter some information. So I am going to enter my name. My name is Veronica Parker. And my email address, I do have an account, so I don't want to put my real email address, but I'll use another one. So I'm going to use nparker@gmail.com. And then I'm going to create a password. Please be sure to write down your password. We do have a forgot password feature that I will show you all in just a moment. But for the sake of just remembering and making sure you have this information readily available, we would advise you to write down your password or keep it in some database or some other location that's easily accessible to you. So I'm going to type in my password that I'm going to create. Okay, and then I'm going to confirm my password. And then I'm going to highlight my consortia. So for today, I'm going to be with the Citrus College Adult Education Consortium. My role is an administrator, and my position is director, and my telephone number is this. Okay. And then I'm going to click register, and that will create a fake account. Now, I did not enter the same information for my password, so let me redo it. This is a very smart system. All right, now I'm going to register. Oh, I need at least one non-letter or digit, so we have specifications. So let's do this again. And I'm doing all this on purpose just so you can see that the system is really smart and you have to follow the guidelines. All right. There we go. So now I have registered for an account. A prompt will come up that says, thank you for registering. You will receive a confirmation email in your email box. So please be sure once you register for a new account, go to your email and click on the confirmation link, and then that will confirm your new account. So now let's pretend that I received the confirmation email and I'm back on this page and I would like to log in. So now I will log in. I'm going to go back up. I could use this button, but I want to show you something else. So I'm going to go back to request support. And now I'm going to actually go through the steps of submitting a support request by clicking on this link. So I click on this link, and now I'm going to use my real account because I really want to submit a support request. So this is my email address, and now I'm going to enter my password. And I'm going to log in. Now it has all of my information already pre-populated for an account that I've already created within the system. So you can see my actual information, and we would like to point out that we want you to use accurate information because this is our way of communicating with you as well as you communicating with us. So we want to make sure that you're using your correct first and last name as well as your correct email address. If we go through our database and we see that there are some fake accounts that we cannot verify, we will have to delete them from the system. So in an effort to minimize that step, please be sure if you're creating an account with us that you use accurate information. So now I would like to contact AEBG TAP because I'm having some issues with the NOVA system. It's May 31st and I'm trying to submit my expenditure reporting by the June 1st deadline, but the system just isn't working for me. So the category that I'm going to click on, this has to do with funding. So funding would be the correct category. My subcategory would be, this is going to be data collection and reporting if we're dealing with NOVA. And now my subcategory will be reporting. And then in the subject line, I'm going to type in whatever issue I'm having. So the issue I'm having is the submit button is not available in NOVA. And I am the primary contact of the consortium, and I am supposed to be able to submit and certify the expenditure reporting. So I'll type in what's going on. So NOVA system submit button is not working. Okay, and then I'm going to pose the question or the comment. So I can say something like I've gone in and the submit button is not highlighted. Available in NOVA. Okay. Please advise on how to submit my expenditure report. Okay, and now I will submit the request. And now it's going to show me that the request has been submitted. So as you can see, the second item, SR68, the subject NOVA system submit button is not working. And then I pose my question or comment. The status is open. It's a data collection reporting issue. And then the time date stamp. And then an AEBG TAP staff person will be alerted that there is a new support request that is pending an answer, and so they will then go in and log into the system and answer your question for you. So that's how you submit a support request. At this time, I'm unable to see the chat pod, so are there any questions regarding how to submit a support request or how to create an account? I am more than happy to answer questions or go through the process if there are any questions related to that.
Penny had a question of can you submit or upload screenshots, and Melinda said not at this time. But maybe that's something we could look at for the future for error messaging.
Hi, this is Melinda, and yeah, that could be, but right now, even if you do get an error message, you can actually select the text on the page and then paste it into the question or comment, like Veronica was typing, the submit button is not available. So you can actually paste error messages in there. Submitting graphics or pictures through a system like this, we have to be careful. So it's on the table, it is being discussed, but you know, I've gotten a lot of pictures in my email that I've never opened because they're from somebody I don't know. So that's something that we have to be aware of and be careful about. So again, it's on the table. We're talking about it. But right now, just copy the error. If you get one, paste it into the comment box and we'll get right on it.
Thank you so much, Diana and Melinda, and thank you, Penny, for that wonderful question. A lot of people would want to know if they can submit a screenshot. That's always very helpful to see the visual. If you are trying to explain a scenario to us, you can email us and we can address it there, but this is your first point of contact for any of our support requests. And so, are there any other questions related to the website itself? I'm going to go out of live demo mode and go back to the PowerPoint. But before I do so, I'd like to address any questions that have to do with the website itself. No questions? Okay, I will come out of the live demonstration. I hope us walking through everything was very helpful for everyone. And if you do have any questions, you can always contact us at another time. So now I am back to the PowerPoint, and we've covered all of this wonderful information about the website and how to use the website, the different features on the website, and all of the valuable content that is on the website. So this is the end of our presentation. I'd like to thank you all for participating. If there are any last minute questions, please be sure to let us know in the chat pod. We would also like to let you know that AEBG Summit, the details regarding that are coming soon. It will be in 2019. We're looking into fall 2019, but details will be coming soon. Please remember, if you have a request or you need some support, whether you would like to request one of our partners, the American Institutes for Research, OTAN, or CASAS to come to your site to conduct a training of your choice, you would submit a support request to request our partners to come out to your training site to conduct a training. You can always email us to get in contact with us. We're at tap@aebg.org, or you can pick up a telephone and give us a call. Our telephone number is 888-827-2324. I do see one question from May about downloading the files since still isn't opening. Okay. We will be able to address your question now. Melinda just asked you which file, so she will take care of that for you, May. Are there any other questions that anyone have at this time? Again, we do have another webinar going on this afternoon. It's the Open Educational Resources Session 1 webinar. That begins today at 3:30 p.m. with Penny Pearson. She's also in this webinar. She's a wonderful trainer, so please be sure to join her at 3:30 this afternoon. Again, we have the OER session number 2. That will take place on Friday, June 22nd from noon to 1 p.m. Again, wonderful educational technology resources for everyone, so please be sure to register for those webinars. And I am not seeing, Diana also posted to make sure you follow us on Twitter at aebg.org.
Hi, Veronica. I'm trying to clarify with May. I'm a little confused. I'm not sure if the PowerPoint is not downloading for her, in which case we can send it to her, not a problem, or if there's something on the site that wasn't opening for her.
Yes, I think she's speaking
okay,
to
May.
today.
May, not a problem. If you type in your email address, I will send that PowerPoint to you.
Yeah, Holly has it too. I just want to thank everyone. I hope that you found a lot of great information available here at the site. And I also want to remind you, if you come up with some suggestions, you have a great resource that you'd like us to share, please go ahead and put in a request support tab and share it with me so that we can go ahead and put it to the AEBG office. And if appropriate, we would love to share the resources that you have, things that you use every day or every week that'll help our colleagues across the state as we're moving through these Adult Ed Block Grant pieces. And thank you again, everyone, for attending. I hope that you've learned something and we'll begin using our new site. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diana. So I will now close the webinar. An evaluation will appear on your screen. Please be sure to take a minute or two to fill out this evaluation to let myself, Melinda, and Diana know what you thought about today's presentation, if there are any professional development or technical assistance needs you have at this time, if there are any resources you would like to see on the website, or just general feedback. We appreciate it all, and we really hope that you found today's presentation useful and that this site will become more that you'll become more familiar with the website and it'll be easy for you to use. We'll also do this presentation at the CASAS Summer Institute. Melinda and I will conduct a live demonstration. So you'll be able to see us in person, interact with us, and continue to receive a lot of information about the new California Adult Education website. Thank you all so much for your time this afternoon. We have enjoyed this webinar and we hope to see you soon. Have a great afternoon.